One of the most difficult names that I have ever come across is Jack, what seems to be Gyllenhaal. But I actually had to look up his name from Conan O'Brien, and I think you pronounce it Gyllenhaal.
I have to help you with it. It is actually Gyllenhaal.
Yeelan, hello?
There it is.
Because it's Swedish, and yes, again, it's just a different pronunciation, a different accent. So it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal. I want to say that correctly. Jake Gyllenhaal. To me, it sounds like I'm making fun of the name, but actually, again, multiple times from Conan O'Brien, Jake says his last name is Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal.
And it's just Swedish, just the different fluctuations. I thought that was pretty interesting. But in this movie trailer, The Guilty, one of the things that let's just watch the first 5 seconds because there's kind of a history of my. Let's just get into it.
911, this is emergency operator 625.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I want to watch that again.
911, this is emergency operator 625.
Okay. Not often do we get focus on police dispatchers. We don't. There's not one incident. I don't want to call it an incident, but it was very awkward. I actually went on a date at a library just to talk to a lady, and I know that's where all the hip young people hang out and stuff and whatever. It was very awkward of a date. It was weird because at the very end of the date I was like, nah, this isn't gonna work, and she was like, oh. She thought it was going well, but for me it was like, nah, no, I'm sorry. It was one of those meetings, and what happened? Something I didn't know is that she was actually a police dispatcher. It's one of those things in which I could never consider myself to ever be doing. It's a job that you get to hear a lot of crap. You hear the worst of the worst as a police dispatcher, and you have to hand that off to somebody else. I've also heard from, I think it was, trying to think, Police Activity. There's a YouTube channel called Police Activity, and what they do is they just post raw police video cams online. That's pretty much it. And they do add context if there was a 911 call. That's awesome. It's like I don't want to hear somebody's commentary about the actual event. Let me watch the actual event. That's phenomenal. And you get to hear a lot of horrible 911 dispatchers being very ineffective. And of course they have to deal with the next call. Sometimes you might have somebody who's like, oh, is this the pizza place? It's like 2 a.m. Yeah, I want a pizza. It's like, ugh. So you have to take into consideration, like, there's real people behind, like, there's a murder. Nobody in the city knows about it until maybe a few months, while a police dispatcher gets the call, and it's just a job that's sort of swept under the rug. It's kind of like a janitor. A janitor does a very necessary job of cleaning and making certain things are disinfected at a place. It's a very important job, but it's just brushed under. You're at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody talks about it, and move on. It's a very necessary job. And the fact that they're actually making a movie about it is kind of interesting. Like, I was a little hesitant to kind of see it. I was like, what can you do with this? But I was excited the fact that they were doing it. I don't know what you could do with it, but, like, okay, since we're here, what are we doing with it? And I'm really glad. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as being an actor. It's just he has that kind of that pep. I wouldn't say he has a very serious vibe. That's I guess where I'm going for is he has a little bit of a weird, quirky, serious vibe. That's what I see of him as an actor. Like Keanu Reeves, he's kind of a little bit more dark and mysterious. He's just not a great, well-spoken person compared to other people, but he's a very kind and humble person from what I've seen behind the camera, from what I've seen behind scenes. That's just the kind of guy who he is. We probably have nothing in common to talk about because I would be talking about one thing. He talks about like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And he would just like nod and wave. It's like, okay, I want some feedback here. But he seems like a nice and kind guy. But when it comes to Jake Gyllenhaal, his name's kind of fun to say. Say it with me. Gyllenhaal. Okay. But let's get into this film.
I've just arrived. Okay, sir, I need to know where you are. Last name?
Is this the fire department?
No, ma'am.
What? What happened? What happened to you? Let's go back a few. I don't know why. It's just the...
I've just arrived. Okay, sir, I need to know where you are. Last name?
Is this the fire department?
Wait, let's go. There we go. It's just that one little bit.
No, ma'am, you've reached 911, but I can connect you to fire. Just hold the line. What does she look like?
She was tall, pink hair, in heels. Hey, man, can you tell me how long it's gonna take?
So you have just a typical police dispatcher, and it's one of those things, one of those stories you don't get to see often. It's one of those stories you don't get to see often. I'm excited about when they do something like this. Let's think of it this story. Somebody who's an exterminator, and he's not a horror guy. He's literally not the murderer, but he's literally at the right place at the right time, and he has to do something like removing insects that have infected the attic. And what he does actually helps this one woman out, and from helping that woman out, she gets he gets a gift card or something. I don't know, I'm just pulling something out of my butt. From that gift card, he's allowed to help. It's like you get to see a little bit of a history. You get to see a story about normal people doing something, and it's just like, you don't get to talk about that. Yay!
911, what is the address of your emergency?
I just want to talk to you.
Okay, I'm hanging
I'm
up.
just out for a drive, sweetie, okay?
See, that's awesome. The way that they do it, he has a curious moment. They're zooming in. It's focused on his reaction. The beautiful part about this is that curiosity often has body language. It's just having the eye move to the left or the right or up or down. It's just like it's not forward. It's not straight. You're actually trying to consider something, and then what happens to your eyes is that it shifts one way or the other. Here's a great way to actually think about this. And if anybody out there, just like pay attention to this one activity. Think about when you were the age of 10. What did you feel, smell, taste, touch, or see? Just think about that for a moment. Where were your eyes going? And it's like hopefully for some of you out there, it's like your eyes were probably looking up, they were looking down, they were looking to the side. Again, our brains, our bodies, they work a particular fashion. But again, I love the cinematography here because there actually is an emphasis. They're building up the suspense. What can you do with a police dispatcher? It's all about uncertainty. You don't know what's on the other side. We, as the audience, we don't have to see what's on the other side. We're learning this entire mystery with this guy.
Is there someone with you?
Uh-huh.
Does the person you with know you called us?
No.
Who do they think you called? Your child?
Yes, sweetie.
Does the person you're with have a weapon?
Yes.
I need the color of the car, okay? When I say the right one, say it's fine. Red?
Again, this guy, he's productive. He's professional. He's cool, calm, and collected while doing this thing. I'm having some hype. There's some hype building, and I'm getting excited about that.
White?
It's fine.
Is it a car?
No, man.
Oh, no, just yes or no. Just yes or no answers, Emma.
I'm sorry, I have to hang up. Give me the phone right now. I'm gonna die.
And then from that one point, we have the entire... we don't know what happened. She believes that she's going to die. We don't know what the actual intent is of the man the presumed man that was going, the guy that was talking in the back of the phone. We don't know the exact thing that's going to happen. He might be actually going to be dragging her off into the woods, murdering her there. We don't know that exactly. It literally could be where she is pulling our leg, and there's something that we don't know. Again, something where she's the actual villain, but again, that's like a 1 out of 100% chance. It's like it's most likely exactly bare bones, to the letter, to the T, where she's the actual victim, and he's just discovering it along the way. Anyways, again, mystery is a suspense, and mystery is a phenomenal thing. And that's actually how you build suspense. It's just you tack on the mystery, you keep emphasizing on what's going to happen with a little detail here, a little detail there. Again, I'm excited about this. Anytime that Jake, what's his last name? Jake or Jack? I'm going to go with Jake. Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like Gyllenhaal, but it's Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal. I have to keep saying it because it's so fun to say once you actually get it. And hopefully I got it correctly, but Jake Gyllenhaal. With oh my god, that's in front of my mind. Gyllenhaal. With Jake. I'm so excited. I don't know how to explain it. I just have so much hype about this movie. Yay! I'm trying to add stuff. It's not working. It's just yay. Those are the words that are popping into my head. Yay! 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 This is cool.
I have a woman who's been abducted.
Again, Training Day and The Equalizer. I'm not a fan of The Equalizer. It does not mean The Equalizer is a bad movie. I'm just not a fan of it. For example, I am not a fan of... What's that movie called? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's not it at all. Silence of the Lambs. I do not like Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is a very, very well-made film. It is. I just don't like it. I don't like that type of genre. With The Equalizer, I like what they tried to do, but it just doesn't resonate with me. So, again, Equalizer, I think, is a very well-made film. I think they try to do a kind of a niche thing, and I think it works for its own genre, but it's something that I wouldn't want to watch twice unless I was watching it with somebody else who wanted to watch it. Other than that, I'm just kind of putting it in the back of my mind. But with Training Day, I don't think I've seen that one. But the way that they're setting it up, again, black screen, small font, not too small, but simple font, and they're using the phones. Any and all noises that we get are very simple. There's not much that we get from his workspace, so any and all noises or ambient noises we're getting, that's what's amplified. So again, they're doing a lot with what little they have. That makes a good movie. Amplify something and continue introducing it. You plant the seeds for an ultimate fulfillment at the very end. That's what makes good film.
What are we looking for?
A white van.
That's not enough.
Come on!
As much as I'm looking forward to this film, there's a few choice moments in this trailer I just can't help but laugh at. That was one of them. Please say that wasn't the first time that he was actually saying, like, hey, we need help. It's like, oh, we can't, you're literally not giving us information. And then he over-dramatized acting scene. Come on! It's just funny to me.
I just talked to your mommy. She's gonna be okay.
You promise?
I promise. You have air support available?
Negative. Air support is grounded due to fire weather.
And again, one of the great things is that this is more of a logistics thing, that he has to work within the law with the system right now, and there's a current forest fire that's literally over-engulfing things, so legitimately, just from taking the film in, you can see the issue that is happening that's not part of the actual conflict. That is probably engulfing so much of the forest and the city's resources right now that they do not have enough resources to go on a manhunt or a woman hunt for this random person that we don't have enough information on. That's literally just a goose hunt or whatever it's called, just a chicken hunt, a goose hunt, we don't know the destination. There's not enough information of a conclusion that we can bring about actually us tracking this person. You're saying that you might be in trouble. We have some issues, but we also have some other issues we can clearly identify and take control over, resolve. So again, it's a very nice, simple thing. I don't know, it kind of sounded, it's like, how was that simple? It sounded very complicated. And it's like, again, it works for me. This entire movie should work. I mean, they could probably F up entirely, and they could probably mess it up where, you know what, this is all a dream, and he was just having a nightmare in bed. Like, oh, okay. Oh, nothing happened.
There is a scared little girl whose mother has been abducted.
Okay, again, it's just a little... there was not enough build-up for me to kind of have that as kind of a... It's just kind of funny to me. It's like... I look forward to watching the movie, and I think in context that's going to be a really good scene where it's like, okay, he's been working for the last 40 minutes, nobody's helping him, nobody's giving air support, nobody's actually extending any resources to this one woman who he clearly has evidence that has been taken, but there's not enough information to go towards, to help.
Need a better location.
We need a better location, absolutely. Again, the quote-unquote antagonists are not antagonists. They are an obstacle in the way of him actually helping the woman that has been kidnapped. That's great. You don't have to make, let's just say, law enforcement the enemy. You don't have to make these people the enemy. You don't have to make them super competent, but just here's what logistically is impractical or improbable for us to do outside these boundaries. And then he has to go outside the boundaries, or he has to navigate through them to achieve his ultimate end. And it's just like, this is good story writing. This is like 101 good story writing to me. I don't know how else to explain it.
You get it.
I know Emily's with you. Where are you going?
And that's the second one. It's the second scene that makes me just it gives me a chuckle. Let's watch that again. Because isn't it... Well, let's watch it again first.
I know Emily's with you. Where are you going?
Isn't there always like a lamp or a light source of some sort, something on top of a desk that you just have to like throw off because of your just boundless anger and rage? Isn't that always the case? Like, I'm so angry, swoosh. It's like, what does the lamp do to you? It's always in a movie. It's like, oh, okay, we have this clip. It's like somebody looking outside the blind, outside the window through the blinds, and they have shade on them, and it's a little bit lighter outside. It's like, oh, it's one of those scenes. Stereotypical, ha 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 ha. That's the way it's moving. It's so funny. Oh, I love it when that happens. It's just like lampshade on head.
What's going on?
Oh, actually, I did not realize that, but let's go back just a little bit. Right there. That's interesting. I didn't catch this the first time. I was thinking that this was actually going to happen one way, but it might be a different way. Oh, the white van! Oh, the white van! I didn't catch this! That's the white van! Okay. So here's the question. Again, it might be a very simple, 1, 2, 3, XYZ, straight cut to the point, straight to the point, cut to the chase type of plot. It might be that he is actually, it might be that she actually got kidnapped and she's probably in the back tied up, and then he has to resolve it. And the majority of the film is probably wrapped around him trying to overcome the obstacles in the legal way, and if not, going outside of the boundaries a little bit more. But he's probably getting off work a little bit earlier so he can get to find this van. And why is the van there? I don't know if there's going to be any more explanation, and I don't think you really need to have much more explanation than it's just a simple kidnapping story, but just focusing on the guy trying to overcome the obstacle of trying to save her while there's just a lot of people that aren't. I think you could tell a whole lot just from that. And if it's going to be a one-shot movie, start with that. Start with something simple. And if you want to extend upon the universe, you can. You can just start something simple, and that's where you should probably go. This is kind of interesting to go because I did not catch that there was actually the white van there. I thought this was just like I thought that was an emergency vehicle the first time that I saw it. Yeah, I mean, just like if like 1 second emergency vehicle, they're going toward with the police. It looks like a police car. It looks like they're going towards the fire, which means that they're trying to probably help somebody. So again, red lights. It's like, oh yeah, red lights is usually on top of an emergency vehicle. This is kind of interesting. Again, I want to know exactly what happens. So this is a movie I am looking forward to watching.
What's going on?
Oh my god. Really, PD, we need medical immediately.
What's going on?
Yeah, but one of the questions that I have is, how can this be more than meets the eye? Is it like an undercover thing? Did the fire start just so they could kidnap this one woman? Is it all a psychological test to make him a super soldier or super spy? So whether or not he would actually act and do something very different or going outside the law, and he's like, oh, this is a test for you. I don't know. Jake Gyllenhaal. Again, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Is your seatbelt on?
No,
Is Henry?
Come on.
no.
Put yours on. Now listen. I need you to pull the handbrake hard.
Okay, but one of the questions is that if she's on the phone in the car and they're driving, why is she allowed to be on the phone? That's one of the questions that I would have. And if he's here, okay, let's speculate here for a second. I want to hear the words exactly if I can.
Henry?
Come on.
No,
What year's on?
Wait.
Have your seatbelt on?
No.
Is Henry?
No.
What year's on?
Okay, Henry, I want to make certain, let's put on the caption. No is Henry, come on, no. So Henry is the quote-unquote enemy. We could probably assume that. I have no idea how deep this rabbit hole is going to go. But with Henry not having a seatbelt on, it means that they have to be in the car. I want to cover my bases, cover my ground of whether or not how deep is this rabbit hole going to go. If she is allowed to be on her phone in the car and she doesn't have her seatbelt on, and he says to put on the seatbelt, well, it's like, that wouldn't that stir some questions for the guy next to you? It's like you're on the phone. If Henry, the guy who's the presumed kidnapper, sees you on the phone or hears you talking to another person and you start putting on your seatbelt, I'm not saying that the guy, Henry, should be expecting an emergency brake to be pulled and some crash probably about to happen. My question would probably be, if you are allowed on the phone, it doesn't really seem as a dire situation. And that's just probably, I don't know. Now, it could have been that the guy, where was it? It's probably, oh, I think it was the one right here. The lamp. Yeah, right there. This probably isn't Jake, the actor. I don't think this is the main character. This is probably just a random police officer who's hearing the call of like, oh, we actually found the white van, we're pulling them over, and then maybe the police officer gets shot by Henry. Maybe he gets shot by the woman who got kidnapped or something, and maybe it's just a double secret agent. No idea. Let's just go with the simple answer first. And this is probably again, a guy's gonna get wasted, and then they're gonna go off in the van, and that's why he's so. Jake is kind of like, okay, what do we do with this? It's like you just. Like, is it more of an emphasis of trying to save her, or will there be more emphasis on who Henry actually is, and maybe even who the woman is, rather than just being a kidnappee and a kidnapper in the reverse order? That's a question that I got. So let's listen to that.
Pull the handbrake hard.
So pull the handbrake hard, which means that they're driving, and they must be driving more than 40-50 miles an hour, because other than that, it would just be kind of a, like, I don't know. You have to. So again, this has to be later in the film, probably 2/3 the way, and then you have Henry probably. It probably will just be that simple. It'll probably just be a very simple movie. Again, something I'm still looking forward to watching, and I'm looking forward to watching it. It's just that how simple will it be of a plot? That's just it's a continuous thing that's at the back of my mind that keeps coming to the front.
Pull it.
Yeah, which means that they have to be going at probably 50 to 60, maybe 70 miles an hour on the highway. And if that's the case, I hope there's not a kid in the back seat, which I think the kid is still at home, and the wife or the woman, I don't know, is the one that was kidnapped in the car by herself, which means that she knows the guy, which, again, that's kind of a question. Again, I hope it's more of a focus on Jake and just his perception, his understanding of what's happening, and we only get little bits and pieces outside of the room, but not like full-fledged scenes. Because I think that, again, more emphasis on the police dispatcher, the type of reality. If you're trying to help somebody, you really, as a police dispatcher, have very little help you can actually give. You only give the information to a police officer or medical support, and they're the ones, or the fire department, and they're the ones that actually go out and help. So there's very little you can do, which you could probably explore that a little bit more, just the reality of the current situation of, you know what, it's a necessary job with very little that you can actually do, and you're just hearing of all the chaos and mayhem that may actually be happening, but you can't do anything about it. It's like you hear somebody on the phone, someone being murdered, and you can only pass on the information to somebody who can help. You can't do anything about it. I mean, that type of reality happens daily, every day, every hour on the hour. That happens throughout the entire world. Somebody gets murdered, you hear it on the phone, you can't do anything about it, and hopefully they give you their information before they hang up. or before the guy who, presumably guy, killed the person on the call. It's like that's a reality you can really explore, and actually making it a thing. That's very interesting. I don't know. Yeah, but I do like how they go do 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 with the black to white, not black to white, but red to black, red to black, white to red. There we go. Yeah, it's a nice little touch. So, in select theaters September and on Netflix. Which again, it's one of those questions as to why would you go to the theaters when you can just watch it on Netflix? I don't know. It's the state of movies today. It's not gonna go well. It's already not going well. Anyways, that unpacked an entire conversation in and of itself. So thank you very much for being a part of this, and I'll see you next time.